this is we're gearing up for the 2025 Red Brick Roads. This is technically it's been here for a decade minus a few things because of COVID and whatnot. But before we kind of get all into what all's going on, take us all the way back to the very beginning, because this has its roots in what used to be called Moonvine. Is that correct?
And the Firefly Festival.
Firefly Festival, that's what it was.
Yes,
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a brief synopsis of what that was.
So years ago, in about 2014, Main Street was doing a Firefly Festival downtown. We did it on a Saturday night in June, and very low-key, everything about it was kind of homespun. And then the Chamber wanted to do something as well, so they started doing Moonvine.
Yep. And it was out on 49 at Live Oaks.
Mm-hmm. They did that for 2 years. And before that second year even, TJ came to me and said, hey, are you interested in doing this together? I said, absolutely. We are better together. So they went ahead and did that one, and then we immediately started making plans to try and bring it to the Brick Streets, coming up with a name. The name was Stephen Nixon. Fran Nixon was helping chair this all the way through and helping us get outdoor beer sales and whatever we needed to do to make this a really neat event for our downtown.
And I guess it was kind of a no-brainer for the name. I mean, it was a great name, but I'm sure that there was a process and let's go through and, cutting room floor and all, but it seems to just fit this town perfectly. Yeah. Red Brick Roads. When did it come here downtown?
2016.
And that was, I've got my little list right here of people. I don't have anybody who was here on 2016, but do you remember who was here during that time?
Oh, gosh, no. I could have researched that for you, and there's a poster hanging in the hall that tells us, but I don't, Robert.
But through the decade though, because again this should be the 10th in the decade, but because of COVID, and then also because of the little change that came in, this is the 8th, the 9th?
Yeah, I think it's the 8th.
The 8th within 10 years. How much has changed in this over the last decade? How much has come in, how much has come out, and then how much has evolved and kind of become what it is today?
I think in a lot of ways we've stayed true as we can to the initial vision of the festival, which was to be a singer-songwriter festival. We tried that for the 7 years, and we got feedback from the community that they wanted some cover in there, so they wanted to see some cover bands. So this year we decided to have one cover band. But we still feel like the rest of the festival pretty much stays true because most of the lineup this year, you'll see they may have a cover here or there, but they're going to have some of their original material as well. Yeah. So I think that's staying true to the vision of the festival, and then also just growing it more of arts. I mean, we'll talk a little bit later about some of the neat things we've added this year.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely music and arts, and it stayed very true to its roots.
So 30,000-foot view, go all the way up to the top. Somebody says, man, I want to put one of these things on. What all goes into organizing an event like this? Ooh. Both y'all can split this. So chamber wise and then also Main Street wise. What all goes on to put on such an event?
Ooh, I mean we've been working on this event for 1.5 years because we took 2024 off after it was so warm in 2023, and we just felt the call.
Reiterate that it was very warm in 2023.
Very warm.
107 heat index.
Yeah, so we didn't feel we could do it in August anymore, and so we took 1.5 years to kind of dive into what can we do if we're going to do this. What can we do to change it, make it better, grow it, and when does it happen? And we landed on the spring, which if you've looked at the 10-day weather forecast, it looks fabulous, and we're so excited about the weather. But just so many little details that I don't even know where to start. I mean, just everything from, permits to this newspaper sitting right here that we create. I mean, that is from the ground up. Every little there's just so many little details that we spend hours and hours and hours.
Security, food for the green room.
Yeah.
Even the talent, working on the talent is hard. But we have a great team. If someone were thinking about doing this, I might tell them to really think long and hard before they dive in. Because we really work on this, like she said, this one a little bit longer because of the changes that we put into place. But normally it's about a year round. I mean, I think we take about a month off, and and kind of regroup, and then we start up for the next festival. So it's
Yeah.
about a year-round thing.
Just like you said, the talent. I've sat around the round table of
Yeah.
throwing the wishes and the wants and the desires and who can we get and trying to fit everything within budget. Who manages our talent? Where do we get it through?
We use a production company called Ardenland out of Jackson who manages the festival for us and helps us secure that talent. We kind of have a music committee, like you talked about, that you've sat on before, that kind of is like, if we had a dream of this is who we want, this is it. But then we have to look at the budget, of course. And, we get requests all the time for people that, people just don't, the public doesn't realize what an artist costs to actually bring them to Clinton. And that's one of the, I guess, not necessarily criticisms, but one of the things we hear as feedback is, well, we don't know any of these people. Well, the people we can't afford.
That's generally true.
Yeah, and I guess also, too, you're having to line them up to where if they're going from Atlanta to Birmingham to New Orleans to Houston, they can't go from Atlanta to Birmingham to Michigan to California to Clinton to Seattle.
Because we're not, we're not big on the map. So, that's a big portion of it. And that takes a long time to kind of, work all those pieces together and get that talent lineup. But while we're working on that, we're working on all the other details of the weekend. Knowing that music's going to fall into place, knowing, okay, we need somebody in this time slot and this time slot and this time slot, and here's what's going to happen around it. That's what we're working on the rest of the time.
So, Anna, the chamber is really, really, really flourishing with getting wonderful businesses to come on board to help sponsor, but also to feature a lot of the local businesses that we have here. How has that have those relationships helped in this kind of organization?
I think, any kind of exposure these businesses can get is what they're looking for when they're looking at how can we spend our marketing dollars. This is a great push because we're, spending money on social media. We're putting posters everywhere. We've got this newspaper we produce. The bands are helping us share. So I think, that's just great exposure for these businesses outside of the Clinton area as well. But, especially for our Old Town businesses too, they get a lot of exposure, especially those ones right on Jefferson the weekend of the festival, because they're being patronized. We hope people are eating at the restaurants. We hope people are shopping in their stores while they come to the festival. So, just people coming from outside of Clinton to Clinton for this music festival is great exposure.
Tara, how does this event really help Main Street shine? Because Main Street has so many awesome events all through the year, but this is kind of top of the mountain kind of thing. It's huge. How does this benefit Main Street?
Well, you really nailed it. It is, top of the mountain that we couldn't do by ourselves. That, when we were doing the Little Firefly, it was the Little Firefly Festival. So this partnership has been great, and it's really just right up Main Street's alley. It's our mission. We are bringing people to our downtown and, showcasing it, the name of the event, Red Brick Roads, and just letting them see what assets we have in our community.
So first and foremost, it is a music festival, and so over the years, we've had some awesome lineups. I wrote down some of my favorites. These, of course, aren't everybody that came before, but Naomi Taylor, she was great. Flow Tribe was great. Jervis Campbell. I loved Happy Landing, The Brook and the Bluff. My hands-down favorite was Mark Broussard in 2019. I probably looked like a fool on the side of the stage singing every single one of his songs. We had a friend of mine and a Clinton native, Shelley Fairchild. She came through. Charlie Mars, which is a huge deal in Mississippi. Empty Atlas. So there have been lots of Jay and the Causeways. Jay and the Causeways was a lot of fun. But again, it's a music festival. What does our music lineup look like this year?
So, as Tara kind of mentioned earlier, one request we've gotten is, music. We want to hear music we know. So we're trying something different this year, and we're really excited about it. But on Friday night, we have a cover band that is Mustache the Band. They're a 90s country cover band. So if you grew up in the 90s, if you loved country in the 90s, you're going to love them. They're fun.
This is Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, Martina McBride, all that.
All that good stuff. So we're really excited about that. They also have a big following in the South and locally, so we're really hoping that draws a crowd. And then Saturday, we've just got, some smaller, local, great, but kind of back to our roots like we were talking about, there's those local artists. So we've got a few of them throughout the day. And then we have something really special that we're have been working on, and Tara's worked on a lot. Don Portress is coming to do a songwriter round with a couple of his friends, Billy Montana and Brian White. They live in the Nashville area, but Don grew up here in Clinton, is a Clinton local. So we're excited to welcome him back to Clinton and kind of get it, that's like we talked about, our roots of this being a true music and arts festival. I think that kind of ties all that back in. And then we're going to end the night with a band out of New Orleans called The Rumble, which, kind of has that funk to them that we like to end the night with.
Big and loud, and make sure that all the neighbors are woken up. One last little Clinton connection that I forgot to add when we were talking earlier is Ardenland. Arden Barnett is a Clinton grad. He's come and talked to students at Clinton High School about how to get into the music industry. So it's just Clinton through and through. And so it's great to see how this little spot on the map can have such large implications when it comes into music. So yes, it's a music event and it's a music festival, but it's so much more than a music festival.
For sure.
So what else is going on, and the other options as I put them on my little list?
Lots of new things.
Lots of new things. I want to talk about probably my favorite new thing we're doing, because it's something we've really wanted to do for a long time. We talked to Wyatt Waters and Christy Waters about how they could be more involved in the event. And so they had attended a plein air paint out in Ocean Springs. There are plein air paint outs that artists do around the state in the Southeast, and she felt like this would be a really neat thing. Of course, Humble Wyatt, he didn't want his name on it, so it's called the Red Brick Rose Plein Air Paint Out, hosted by Wyatt Waters. So they're bringing in about 33 artists that will be all over our community, mostly centered around the downtown. Though on Saturday, they will bring. And the other caveat that Wyatt wanted is he really didn't want it to be judged by professional judges and that kind of thing. So we did a compromise, and he's going to let us do a people's choice. So they'll be painting around town. By 2:00 on Saturday, they will bring that art back to the studio, and it will be on display. Some of the artists may choose to sell it, some may not. So but we feel like some will be selling their art, and then the public can vote on which one is their favorite.
Will they be able, since it's plein air, since it's out there, you can go and watch them through the creation?
Exactly.
Right. So from 9 to 2 throughout Old Town, maybe some on the campus of MC. Around. Yeah, there'll be people just painting. So that's going to be awesome to see around town.
Do you think will it be Wyatt style, or will it be kind of all? Some people will be in acrylic, some will be oil, some will be in watercolors.
So it's all level. They've opened it to all levels of painters.
They do. They have different levels of painters, different mediums. So I think you'll see a little bit of everything. Of course, watercolors does lend itself to a quicker, paint out. So anyway, we're super excited about this.
Really excited.
I can't paint. I can't draw to save my daughter can draw, and she's fantastic at it. It would be hysterical if I tried to do anything like that. There would be not even impressionism. They'd be like, "This is a bad impression." But speaking of art, so you've got these professionals that are going to be out there doing all this wonderful thing, but then everybody else gets to participate as well in Art in the Park. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Okay, yeah. So Art in the Park is something that Main Street has done now for about 4 years. And when we started looking at moving the Red Brick Roads to the spring, we decided to bring that under the umbrella of Red Brick Roads. And it is a showcase, like we do it at Lions Club Park. The artists are demonstrating, and it's really geared towards children, but adults come and enjoy it as well. You would definitely see people there without their children, but they get to walk around and experience what the different artists can do, and that there again, they can choose to sell if they want to, and then there's going to be some interactive things. So that's really neat, and that's from 10 to 3.
It's something my kids have loved coming to every year. My kids both love art, so it's going to be something great, family friendly. That is also a part of the festival that's free to the public.
I was going to say that's a free component, and then we will also have the Heinz bands there. So there will be music going on as well.
Yeah, because they do the rock band. Will it be the marching band aspect, or will it be all of them?
They have a whole lineup for the stage.
Because I know like Paul Heindel and all, they do the rock band group, and so they'll show up, and it's these talented kids that get to play music. Yeah. All right, so a little bit more interactivity that's not necessarily part of the music is the homebrew competition.
Yes.
The 5K, don't do them in that order. And then also I saw that there's going to be a crawfish bowl put on by Tebow's. So tell me about these three things.
Okay, so the run just kind of came from like we were looking to fill this weekend with lots of opportunities, I think, for people to, just take part in the whole weekend. And maybe you don't love music, but maybe you love to run. Mm-hmm. So let's have something for you too. So that's going to happen Saturday morning, really early, 7 a.m. But it kind of, we have such success with the Yule Run that we put on the day of the Christmas parade. So we felt confident that we could easily add another run to our year. And we have over 100 runners signed up to run, which we're really excited about. That broke kind of our goal. So we're really excited about that. And then the homebrew competition is something that this is the 6th year, I believe, of the homebrew competition. And it's something that's grown every year, and it happens on Saturday afternoon. You have to, have a ticket to the festival. You have to be over 21, of course, but the homebrews are brewed by local people, at their homes. It's just what it sounds like. And they bring those to be judged at a separate time before the festival. But then the day of the festival, they set out on the streets out here. They serve the beer. You can come sample it. And with this too, we have a people's choice. So you get to come taste them all and then say, that one's my favorite. And we give awards. So right now we have 39 brews in the competition.
I've gotten to judge that before. And there are judges like me who don't take it very seriously. And then there are some judges that they have like qualifications.
Yes.
I'm unqualified.
So and this is the only homebrew competition in the state of Mississippi.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
We're, pretty proud of that. Yeah. So
they used to have one in Hattiesburg.
Yeah, but now it's the only one in the state of Mississippi.
I just learned something.
Yeah. So we are really excited about that. And like I said, it keeps growing every year.
So tell me a little bit more about the crawfish bowl, because that's something that is so given that people just overlook, but this is Tebow's.
Yeah, so when our steering committee was looking at what can we do, we just wanted to add one more thing, to maybe either kill us or make it real successful. And so the time of year just lended itself to crawfish. And so we were glad to use a local vendor. Kelly Ray has been amazing. He's understaffed, so we're going to have to staff it. And so if you want to volunteer,
we are looking for some volunteers.
Crawfish plates, you can certainly do that. But anyway, it'll be fun, and that'll be out there on Monroe Street. So we're hoping people will enjoy that.
Tables set up for people to sit and enjoy crawfish, drink beer, listen to the music. So we just felt like it was kind of like the cherry on top of the whole weekend.
This is always those crawfish bowls in the spring always make me wonder how many people forget to wash their hands after eating crawfish and then they touch themselves in the eye. So gearing up for 2025. This is a different Red Brick Roads. You mentioned earlier that we're not going to be in the dead heat of August. We've moved it up to March. You've had 18 months to kind of get this ready to go. Was there fear of almost 18 months in between kind of losing momentum?
I think maybe a little bit, but not.
I think the benefits far outweigh any fear of that.
I agree.
And I think just bringing in new partners this year, one thing we failed to mention is we're partnering with the Institute of Southern Storytelling at the MC. That's Anthony Thaxton, Robert St. John, Anthony's wife, Amy. They have been amazing. They're going to kick off the festival on Thursday night with a story fest. And they're going to preview a student filmed short story by Michael Ferris Smith called Chasing Rabbits. And so that'll be amazing. And then after that, they have a Q&A session with Gary Grubbs. And Gary Grubbs is Mississippi native, with just a, amazing, prolific actor.
So that, happens on Thursday night. So we've actually added a third day to the festival. Not a day, but a third night, a third.
Right.
And this is precedent because there was the movie night previously and all, and I got to come to it and see a bunch of really cool documentaries and other kind of movies and all, but it wasn't necessarily something that you felt could sustain. It was really cool to have as a, not necessarily a one and done, but it was a really great, unique thing to have for that year. But this could be, since this is with Mississippi College, this could be something that could go in the future.
Yes, and that's what we're really excited about with this, and partner with White Waters, and these things that our steering committee doesn't necessarily have to facilitate. We're really excited about these partnerships that we feel strongly that they will sustain because we don't have to do all the work.
That's right.
You know, we can only do, our steering committee of 5 or 6 people can only do so much. So we're super thankful for these people that have chosen to also volunteer and kind of partner with us and help this weekend.
That's right.
So it's a local, very local event. You get to see all the people you know, all the people you don't know, and you'll get to know them. But if anybody wants to attend and just come as an attendee, how would they go about doing that?
So you can buy a ticket at the gates. You can just show up, but also it's really easy to remember, redbrickroads.com. You can go ahead and buy tickets there. You can buy a weekend pass, which is $35. You can just come on Friday night, which is $20, or you can just come on Saturday, which is $25. We also have a student rate that's $10 if you show your student ID. Children under 10 are free, so we want you to come with your family. We do have a kids area on Jefferson Street that will have some games and some interactive stuff for families to hang out near the music. So it's very easy to come.
We've got a lot of people in this town who don't just like to attend, they like to participate. So if they wanted to come and volunteer and scoop crawfish or welcome people, or how would they need to get in contact with y'all to say, hey, I want to be a volunteer?
Well, thankfully, we do use an online platform called Sign Up Genius. I think if they just reached out to either Main Street or Anna at the Chamber, we can send them a link to sign up because we definitely have some volunteer spots available, especially.
So kind of closing out, the best way to get into the spirit for Red Brick Roads, one thing that you said was that people want to listen to music that they know. They can do that with this. How can they go and listen to these artists that are coming in?
Yeah, so we have a Spotify playlist, which you can find on our website. I think it's also on our social media. But yeah, I think it's just Red Brick Roads 2025 if I'm
I just
correct.
go to the website, redbrickrose.com, and then you can scroll down to the bottom and you can find the link to the Spotify playlist.
But
And then just save the playlist.
yeah,
Put it on
just
there.
play it over and over and over until you come.
I still listen to Jay and the Causeways.
I listen to some of the old ones sometimes too.
All right. Well, I appreciate you letting me come in. It's the second time we've gotten to do a podcast here in the Chamber office. There's lots of stuff going on, lots of happening in 2025, and I appreciate you both letting me interrupt 30 minutes in your day.